Nico, how have the goalies looked to you so far?
They look good. I mean, they look big. No, I feel like they're working hard. If you look at the practices, they're always early out there, and I know we got great goalies in here with great character, and you can see that with the work ethic they have. So that's huge for us.
You're optimistic you'll see more consistency from them this year.
Of course, yes.
And what do you think of Alexander Holtz and how his training camp is shaped up? Obviously, been pretty good so far.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it seems like what comes off his stick goes in the net. That's obviously just positive for us. He's got the great goal scoring instinct, and I think every team can need that, and especially us too. So definitely good to see him doing well.
He one of those guys you want to see in the big roster this year?
Of course, but he knows, everybody in here knows. We got lots of good hockey players in here. That makes it harder to make the team, but we push each other like that, and so it's just positive. It makes you better as a whole group if there are more better players in here.
What benefit do you think it had starting training camp with a lot of scrimmages instead of going through a lot of practices?
I mean, obviously, like, you can talk about structures, but at some point you got to do it. And after that, we have video on the scrimmage. So after that, you pick out the stuff you got to improve, and that's probably why we're doing it. At some point, you need a game-like situation, and tactic is tactic. But at the end of the day, sometimes during game, it's a fast game. Anything can happen, and sometimes you got to make some reads, some hockey reads, and definitely that's what we got to do in the scrimmage. It's different than in a practice.
And now you have preseason games coming up. Now you're not playing against each other. What are you expecting from these other NHL clubs?
Yeah, I mean, same. They're having the same thing. They're having a training camp. I think that they're gonna have players that want to make the team. We got really motivated players like us, and it's just gonna be tough games, I would say. Like the first couple of games are always tough. Like you're looking for the timing, you're trying to find your game, and but hey, that's what they're there for. So I'm looking forward to it. Haven't played in a while, so it's definitely going to be fun.
I was wondering, you had a really good season last year. If there was any one thing that you came into this season looking to improve on, like over the summers or anything like that?
Just in general, like take another step. And just win more games. That's what I'm looking for. Trying to do the same thing pretty much, and yeah, just put an extra level on top of it, and have more consistent in my game, and yeah, be at the end in meaningful games.
Okay, Nikita, you're here and you're at training camp. What do you think you've really started to prove in these scrimmages so far?
I mean, in scrimmages, it's you're playing against your teammates, so my strength is use like hitting and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be careful here, just in case nothing happen. So, but I'm trying to focus on my execution and simple game.
And for you, what were some of the things they wanted you to work on this off season, and what did you really spend this summer working on?
I mean, it's an execution, first pass. It's about that, skating, better gaps.
And for you, what do you still want to prove to these coaches in the rest of training camp with preseason games?
I mean, like I said, first of all, execution again, and show my physicality that I can play in this level. Play simple, like I said before, and use like gaps, do better gaps.
What's this environment like being here at training camp? There's a lot of people competing for a spot as well as you. What's it like to be in an atmosphere where everyone's really pushing the pace every day?
I mean, it's fun time. It's how I say it. It's like after the summer, after a long break, you come back and you just enjoy it and having fun here. Competition is a priority.
And last season, you were able to, find the back of the net a couple times and assist on a couple goals. So how did you take that offensive side? Because even though, you're more of a defender, how did you bring that offensive side into your off season?
I mean, I'm trying to, if I can, if I'm sure, I'm trying to join the rush, be aggressive, not aggressive, be more like, so be an option for the forward for help on a blue line. So if I have a lane to shoot, I'll shoot.
first scrimmage like for you to be back in game action here at training camp?
Yeah, obviously nice to get going right away. I mean, it was a long time waiting at home in Sweden, and finally I'm here and I'm into it right away, so I like it.
For this past summer, what did you really focus on and trying to come back into this training camp with?
Yeah, I mean, I try to get better in every situation I'm in on the ice, and try to do it like I did last year, but even better. So yeah, that's most of that. Yeah.
You ended last season on a 3-game point streak. So what did you really take away from your success at that part of the NHL season into the summer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously nice to get some points, but I want to be working hard all over the ice and do my job, and then have success from that.
What would you describe as your role?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a power forward with a good shot and physical on the ice too. I would say hard on the puck.
How did you think you did out there today in the scrimmage?
I tried my best. It was tough for my legs sometimes, but it's getting better.
And then looking forward at preseason games, what will that experience be like for you to be able to put into practice all the things you worked on this summer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously nice to practice with the guys in the team and yeah, do all the work together, and finally the season starts soon.
Graeme, you were able to score in that game. What was working well with you offensively out there?
Yeah, I think it was good. I think my line mates, Tatar and Boqvist, are pretty easy to play with, and we played together yesterday. So to kind of get a little chemistry today, found the back of the net, so it was fun.
And when you look at this training camp as a whole, what have you really worked on proving and showing to the coaching staff?
Yeah, I think these camps are fun because, they saw you last year, and then you get to work on stuff in the summer that they want you to get better at and stuff like that, and you can kind of address it and, want to show that. So I think try to do that today and just moving forward.
What were some of those things that they wanted you to work on this summer?
I think just playing with a lot of pace, playing fast, moving your feet. I felt like I got a lot faster, and just, trying to play at the NHL level at that speed because obviously it's really fast.
And what else do you think that you need to do to keep making these steps towards your progress?
Yeah, I think it's just rounding out your game all the way around. Everyone says that, but I think it's really important because just to be relied upon, if the coach wants to put you on the ice, that's good. So just continue to do that.
And when you look at this locker room, I mean, there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of competition here. So not really just focusing on you, but what's it like being in this environment where everyone really is trying to be their best every day?
Yeah, it's a competitive environment. I think that's how great teams are built. So I think if everyone's pushing as hard as they can, it makes for, that was a great game out there. Obviously, overtime would have liked to win, but it's okay. And if every day coming to the rink, I think everyone's, ready to go.
And this training camp, we started straight with scrimmages. So how important do you think that was for everyone to really be able to jump and prepare for these preseason games?
Yeah, it felt like everything kind of is moving really fast, and I think that's probably a good thing, just, getting right into the games. And there's a preseason game tomorrow in Montreal, so I think things are happening fast, but at the same time, that's good because, like I said, everyone came ready to go.
Thank you. Lindy, now that you have all 3 scrimmages done, really what were some of the benefits that you saw from these players jumping into game action right away?
Well, I think when you look at the first 3 days, we had a day where we worked on, how we want to play. Worked a lot on the tracking part. I thought what was evident today was just the speed we played at. A lot of real good speed in the game, and I thought some real nice plays made offensively, and then there was times I thought we were real strong defensively. So, you look at it now, we start to get to play for real a little bit when we start preseason games.
What did you think about Fabian Zetterlund in today's game?
Good. I thought skated well. Looked a lot like he did when played for us last year, and thought his compete was good. Energy was good. We were a little worried with flying back, only skating yesterday, but I thought he handled it well.
When you look at Okhotiuk and Ball competing for a spot, what really needs to stand out from one of them in order to really be taken to that next level?
Well, I think when you look at a defenseman, you're looking at his puck play, his first pass. You're looking at how he's defending, all the situations inside the zone, rush situations. You're looking at what he can add to your team.
Have any stood out to you, either Ball or Okhotiuk?
I think we've seen a lot of what they've brought. We know physically that Okhotiuk he can be a really tough guy to play against. I think Kevin, just massive size, reach, the way he uses his stick, and I think we got a good look at him last year. There's areas of our game that we've tried to push him physically, and he's working hard at it.
I know historically the fourth lines have been your more physical players, your penalty killers, defensive type, but do you have that mentality when you're putting together your lines, or do you look at all 4 lines as could be anything, any type of player? Is there a type of player you like on that?
Well, I think that when you look at the build of your team, that has to come into consideration. Then you look at the depth. You look at Nico and Jack as your top two centermen that are, going to play, probably around 20 minutes a game. Then you decide, what do you need for, 8, 9 minutes or 10 minutes? Do you need a penalty killer? Do you need a guy that's going to win faceoffs? Are you playing a physical team that you want to counter that physically? So that makeup a lot of times come down to what your lineup offers you.
I'm sorry if you answered this already, but Holtz and Hughes look like they have some pretty good chemistry out there. What are you seeing from them?
Yeah, it was an opportunity to take a look at Holtz up with Jack. I think he's had a couple of real good games scrimmage-wise. But again, now we're looking at real opposition where physically everything gets ramped up, and I'd like to see more of the same. I think the pace, Jack is a tough guy to keep up to, so hoping that by throwing him up there, it can drive his pace higher.
Nico Hischier said that he obviously can fill the net. Are you seeing other things in his game away from the puck that you're happy with?
Yeah, you're talking about Holtz still.
Yeah, Holtz.
Yeah, I think that's the area of the game where you got to get harder on pucks in key areas and in the small ice compete. We've asked him to increase the pace. I think his pace has looked good. So really interested in seeing him in games.
With back-to-back preseason games, is there anything particular that you'll look at with the games being back-to-back?
No, I think when we're looking back-to-back, we're going to address two totally different lineups. So, we'll kind of split our roster, split our NHL guys. And the players we mentioned are going to help us make decisions. The way they play inside those games. Like we said, we're trying to give the players the opportunity they need, give a Holtz the opportunity he needs, Zetterlund the opportunity he needs to see if he can maintain where he was at the end. But we're looking at a lot of different players, so there's some competition up front from our veteran players.
So in some ways it's a positive, so you'll have a better chance to look at a lot of players right away, as opposed to days in between?
I really don't think there's any positive playing four games in 5 nights. I think it's overly demanding sometimes, but the fact we're going to try to split it up and not play anybody back-to-back, it shouldn't make a lot of difference because we're going to play a back-to-back, we're going to take a day off, a group's going to play, and then again on the back-to-back we're going to play a totally different group. So we're going to be aware of where everybody's at physically, and we've practiced pretty hard for the first 5 days of camp.
What are your thoughts on Tatar and Johnson so far?
Well, I thought Tatar had a good day. I mean, Johnson got a little banged up today. Both guys have worked hard. I thought Schmid made a heck of a save on Tatar in the third period of the scrimmage. Skating well, he's working hard. So, like I said, those guys will help make all the decisions for us just by putting the work in.
You have a nice new infusion of veterans and guys with playoff experience with Palat, Howla, Marino. What are you seeing on the ice with those guys, and how is it translating into the locker room and on the bench?
Well, you can tell they're coming from a pro program. Their details are good. Their work habits are good. Asking a lot of questions. I think some system stuff is just different for them. So we're just adding guys with a lot of success and a lot of veteran presence.